Hello, fellow crafters. Welcome back. And if you're just seeing us for the first time, my name's Tanner and my wife's name is Amy. Together, Amy and I make metal and leather artwork. We also do some films, and Amy does a lot of very beautiful fine art, some watercolor and so forth. And basically, what we do is we base our artwork that we do together off of Amy's illustrations and her watercolors. So today we're here to talk about the pros and cons of wholesaling. So this is a big one usually for crafters and makers of all kinds because it's sort of, do I do it or not? Or how much do I do it? Or what if I do this and what if that happens and that kind of thing. So Amy and I have wholesaled to probably more than 30 stores and galleries at this point. I'm not exactly sure the exact number, but it's more than 30. And today we're just going to walk through some of our observations, our tips, and so forth on wholesaling your handmade items. So, whether you're curious about expanding your market reach with wholesaling, like you want to push out and get to in front of customers that you wouldn't normally see at, say, craft shows or art shows on your Etsy store, etc., because they're customers of the store that you're looking to work with or the gallery you're looking to work with, or you're considering like just plunging straight into wholesale and going, hey, you know what? That's where I think I want to exist as an artist, as a crafter. I don't really want to do the whole storefront thing. I want someone else to take care of that part. Well, I focus on making it. We're going to go through our list based on that to give you an idea of sort of, I guess, but really just the pros and cons of either approach or some combination approach, because we certainly do a combination approach ourselves. So let's get started. Advantages of wholesaling. So the first thing we've got on our list here is increased sales volume. That can definitely be a really great advantage of wholesaling, and it can certainly be something that becomes a reality, maybe even quicker than you think it might, where you have connected with someone and they're interested in carrying your product in their gallery, their store, etc., or they're interested in doing it for a private company in some capacity too. And very quickly they can go, you know what, we like you, we love your product, let's do this. And all of a sudden you've got an order for like 300 of the same item or something like that. And so the increased sales volume can significantly boost your sales and your revenues, like overnight kind of thing. So that is one major advantage to wholesaling, because it's like it can be like a whole craft show just in one shot, one customer, and you're like, wow, look at that. Exposure to a wider audience. So I kind of breached into that a little a couple minutes ago, but basically a store that's located in a mall is going to get different traffic than a craft show that's located at a convention center or an Etsy store, etc. And so we have found that having a variety of different galleries and stores carrying some of the work that we make can be a great advantage, because we've had customers who have first experienced our work at a gallery, for example, and they ended up becoming long-term clients and buying from us frequently outside of the gallery. But they had never seen us before, didn't know who we were, no idea. And after finding us at the gallery and purchasing some work there, they then specifically sought us out and went, yep, you know what? We want to keep seeing what's new and coming back and so forth. So that's just one example, but it could be a really good way to kind of expand your reach out to people that maybe hadn't been going to shows or hadn't been going to the shows that you were going to, but who would love your work. Steady orders is our next point. So that can be a really good thing if you've got something. It depends on your item, but say you make soap and it's doing well at the store, and every month or every 2 months the store owner is making another order, and it's kind of like clockwork. It's soap, it's something that someone consumes and comes back and says, hey, I love that, I want more of that. And that can be something that is really nice to mix in with your show revenues and your online revenue, which can be fairly variable depending on the season, depending on the show, depending on all kinds of factors. But with these stores, if you've got a few of those going, I mean, we know a whole lot of crafters and artists, and they all do it a little differently, but some people really do have quite a portfolio of wholesale clients that they basically they serve, and then they sprinkle in shows to give themselves little boosts of revenue. It's nice to get out and talk to people directly about your items and share your stories and stuff. But these people, they approach it a little bit more of, they want to have that consistency, steady orders coming in. Our next advantage of wholesaling was brand visibility. So obviously, if you're in a store that's in a mall, there could be all kinds of people. There could be tourists. There could be people who would just never ever go to a craft show or an expo or any of those types of things. That's just not their thing. But they do go to the mall because they need to get stuff there, or they enjoy going to the mall, whatever the case is. And on top of that, you can say, hey, in Edmonton, we have one of the world's largest malls. So, say if, for example, you got into a store there, you could say, "Hey, well, my products are located at this mall, and it's one of the world's largest malls, and please come check it out if you have the chance." Or you could use it as a place to direct people to if you don't have a storefront that you're running aside from your shows and online, but people still want to come and browse. Say, "Hey, go check it out at the mall." So that brand visibility can really increase recognition and credibility as well, because it's in a real, like, established brick and mortar store, and a lot of people still give a lot of reverence to that, and they like to go and feel like, you know what, this is something that's not just going to disappear tomorrow. It's a real store. The people, I enjoyed the store. I love these products and so forth. And it's just that certain experience will always probably appeal to a certain segment of the population minimally. And I think everybody else would just be used to it and enjoy it, should they come upon it. Efficiency and production is the next point. So dealing with large orders can lead to more efficient production processes and economies of scale, and potentially reducing your production costs as well. We've definitely noticed that with doing wholesale orders, and you want to have this repeatable item and get it as close as possible as you can, so that it's got that consistency and that quality that the store owner or gallery owner was looking for when they brought you in. And you go, yes, I can do 50 of these, no problem. And they'll be handmade. So there'll be variations, of course. No one's expecting perfection. And if they are, then they shouldn't be probably coming to us handmade folks. But um, with that, we've definitely, look, in our own way, within our own microcosm here, revolutionized how we produce our work, how we source our resources and so forth, to really look at every possible aspect of producing something and look for the best way to do it while retaining the quality. And you know if we know that we're going to have these steady orders coming in, then we go, well, yeah, okay, this month this particular resource is on sale, uh, paint or whatever it happens to be, and we stock up. Of course, if you don't have steady orders, you don't want to necessarily always do that. It can be kind of draining on your account there, and you don't know if you're going to use it, or it might expire, or whatever the case is. But if you've got the infrastructure set up there, then the efficiency and production will come, because you're always looking for ways to maintain the consistency and the quality and what people expect, and maybe even improve it. If it could be an opportunity to improve it too, and at the same time reducing the time to produce it, the cost to produce it, and so forth. Move along here. So networking opportunities. So wholesaling often involves building relationships with retailers and other industry professionals, which can lead to really, really valuable connections and collaborations. You might be the person they think of when they have a need to give out Christmas presents to their employees, or when they decide they want to have a special feature artist or something like that, or maybe they want an artist in residence. You never know. There's the endless possibilities. We could go on forever, but basically, those connections that you're making are super important, and they're often with people that are significant in the community. Because if you're getting into a noteworthy gallery, well, that's a credential for you. Like that's something that's an accomplishment, and you've impressed the gallery owner. You're impressing their customers, and that is something that you really, it's very valuable to you. And so the networking aspect of doing wholesaling is something to take very seriously if you're wanting to pursue wholesaling on any level, really, but especially if you're wanting to pursue a healthier share of your work into wholesaling customers, like say, I don't know, 30%, 50%, 80% of your customers, if that's what you're looking for. The networking aspect and the networking opportunity is it's a big advantage, and it's definitely something to really focus on and building those relationships. So at this point, I thought I'd kind of mention that if this is sounding all kind of new to me, perhaps you might like to check out our Udemy course about it's a guide to starting wholesaling. And we put that in the description below, the link to it. And it's something that Amy and I put together because we had so many questions from people about how to do this. And it is, it's a complicated thing to describe in a couple minutes, but it's definitely something to consider if you're doing your business even part time, because it can be a real opportunity to um, for all those advantages I listed above. So, anyways, we put together this guide, and hopefully, it's helpful. If you have time, please check it out and see if it's for you. And so, with that being said, I'm going to move on to the disadvantages of wholesaling. But I don't like to call them disadvantages, and neither does Amy. We like to call them the challenges of wholesaling, because we always look for the silver lining, the positive points about each point here. But I think that challenges really is a better way to look at it, in my opinion, simply because we're when you're approaching a new aspect of your life or a new aspect of your business, it's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to add more, to become more than you were, have your products get out to more people, and so forth. So, our first challenge, wholesale clients are going to look for as often a significantly lower price than your retail offering. Now, of course, you want to be cautioned to only work with people you feel are treating you fairly. And at the same time, you have to treat yourself fairly. So pricing is a big one. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail on that, but lower profit margins. Um, the silver lining with lower profit margins is that it will help you look for things like deals on supplies, on obviously on quality comparable supplies, or keep an eye out for sales, that kind of thing. But it is a way that you can start thinking about, well, if there was some way I could produce this at a lower price point, or a wholesale price point, and if the person was willing to take 50, then maybe I could do it. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, you get a customer that does that, maybe you get two that do that, or three, or however many. And you start finding out, like, hey, you can get a quantity discount at your supplier for your paper or whatever it is that you need, that kind of thing. You can start getting your own wholesale accounts, or whatever the case is, or bulk discounts or price club things. And that's just one way in which, as after you have been challenged to think about it, you start actually kind of actively looking into it, and you'll be surprised at what you will find. Um, the next challenge is a production challenge. So meeting larger wholesale orders may require you to scale up your production. You might not, the production area may not be big enough, that kind of thing, which can be challenging, obviously, at a small craft level. Um, but this challenge has helped us find a quicker way to finish our products. So you can do them in batches, and you only have so much space, and you can only capacitate so many at a time. But um, if you focus and follow this process that you've developed in most cases and so forth, or and now you're fine tuning, you can actually um, find a way to finish the products quicker or have auxiliary areas that you maybe didn't think about where they could be drying or they could be the finished products could be stored separately out of in a totally different area, that kind of thing. And by having multiple orders like this, increase our ability to create products quicker without sacrificing the quality. And I keep saying that, but I think that's a really key thing. A lot of people are coming. You're building your brand, even if you're just starting. You're already the first customer. You're already building your brand. You're building expectations, and people are going, "Wow, this is really nice. Oh, I love all your details, or your at least your attention to detail, and that kind of thing." And I think that you want to keep that in mind as you're going through each of these points and other points with your business. It's always keep that focus that you want to have that good quality in your work. Uh, Another challenge is a loss of control. When you wholesale, you have less control over how your products are displayed, how they're marketed, how they're sold, what the salespeople say, and that kind of thing. So retailers may have their own pricing and branding strategies, and your items might go on sale. Like they might say, yeah, you know what, this weekend only 20% off all handmade items in my shop, or whatever the case is, or all locally made items. It doesn't matter. You could end up in a category that's on sale for some reason, and it might be below your price, but often that really I don't feel that overly reflects on the artist or the crafter or the creator so much. It's just something that stores do, and everybody knows that. We all wait for the sales at Michael's or wherever because it's going to go on sale at some point, and that's the time that some certain customers will only come in, and the regulars they might come in, they might not because they're there all the time anyways, and they may have already bought the color they liked, and now they have the only one, or whatever the case is. So different settings will reach a different group and get a different response. And just because someone bought an item on sale now, it doesn't mean the next item of yours won't be bought at full price. Again, I mentioned that earlier with the gallery story of the customer found us in a gallery. Um, Now that item wasn't on sale at the gallery, but they found us in the gallery, and then they took the business card that came with that and specifically sought us out and came to one of our shows, and then they just kept coming back after that. It could have been a very similar situation, but they went to, say, a store that happened to have a sale on the item that we had created for them, and the customer bought that one and went, "You know what? I want another one to go with it, and I know I got it on sale at this store. That was very lucky, but I really appreciate it, and I want to go get another one or get a gift or something like that and come to the booth." And we've had things, a lot of people have come to us in different ways and experienced our work initially without us being present. And these settings are a good way to do that. So even if you don't have control over that setting, it is still something that is really valuable to you because you're totally out of the picture now, and someone else is being creative with how they're presenting your work and how they're talking about it and how they're getting people excited about it. Payment terms. So wholesalers often require longer payment terms, so that can be a challenge too. It means you have to wait longer to receive payment for your products. They may want to pay on delivery, a cash on delivery kind of thing. Um, if you're in a reliable relationship with your wholesale customer, you'll know that the money is coming, and so that takes some of the stress out of it, and also teach you to budget more efficiently so that you go, okay, well, I know that I'm going to get X amount from this person, and maybe you've got 5 or 6 of them going, and okay, that's all coming in different times. But you know that generally speaking, it's going to come in about when you expect. Obviously, there can be delays, especially with another small business. There may be some delays, but so don't be surprised by that. But um, as you budget more efficiently, you may end up looking for further discounted supplies or packaging, or even small shows that you can kind of slot in between. Um, and another challenge that can crop up during wholesaling is, oh, sorry, it's just maybe having audio issues here. Another excuse me there. Another issue that can or challenge that can crop up during wholesaling is quality control. Maintaining consistent quality when producing in large quantities can be a challenge. And I know that's like the sixth time I said this today, but all the same, uh, I've heard from many artists who think they can't create the same piece over and over. But trust me, if you do this, it will make you 10 times better as an artist and a crafter because you get to hone that specific skill. Like you make that one item over and over and over, and now you're an expert at making that item. But as we all know with our handmade items, that's a transferable skills. It's drawing, it's painting, it's carving, it's whatever it is. And you've now just did 300 of them. You're going to be pretty good at that. The processes involved in that you've now improved what you can do. And so when you go and do your own new ideas that are like, I'm going to do my new paintings, for example, you can now employ that technique much more fluidly and smoothly. And you'll notice it's just like practicing, an instrument or anything else. You do that one part over and over and over, and then all of a sudden one day, wow, it's just ingrained. It's a skill that you now have. It's just part of you as an artist. And so these wholesale orders can, even though at the time it can be challenging, I know, it can be a really good opportunity to just kind of like skill up in that way. And, maybe we had a wholesale order where I needed to produce a number of items, and I was not at the same level as Amy was, but she was not able to do it right then. And so I had practice up, and I can't even describe like the difference. Like I thought I was in this position that I'm describing here. Oh my gosh, like I have to deliver. It has to be this quality and standard for our own purposes and for what we've promised to this person. We would not give them something that was below standard, and it worked out extremely well. It was stressful, but afterwards, my capabilities to assist Amy with this was some years ago now, but my capabilities to assist Amy in the workshop went way up just from doing that order because I understood things that I just didn't understand without having just got in there and done it over and over and over until I went, oh, that's how that works. Our next challenge is market saturation. In a competitive market, finding retailers carrying your products can be challenging, and you may face competition from other crafters. Ask yourself, how can I stick it out? How can I put across my story and stand out? So I know, like you might go. We've been to wholesale appointments before where I was a line of people going in. Hey, I recognize this person and that person from the craft shows, and we're all going in there to take in our latest items and see what the gallery thought or the store thought. And we each had our appointments and that kind of thing. And it's almost like a job interview scenario in a way. In that situation, it wasn't. We weren't expecting it necessarily, but it all worked out all right. I think everybody may have got a good placement there. I'm not sure, but you just have to look at it as an opportunity to find a unique way to present your item. Like we already know your item's going to be unique. It's telling your story. It's part of you. It's who you are. It's what you're called to do and so forth. And so when you go to one of these appointments, even if you are the only one there, which is normal, but if there's more than one, it was just you, whatever the case is, you are able to still stand out in the mind of the person that's the buyer. They go, I had 10 other appointments today, but that one, like that soap and the packaging and the story behind it and those cards that she includes with it, those are I just know my customers, they will love this. And that's how you kind of tie down one of these opportunities to get into a store and then to say, hey, I'm at one of the world's largest malls and here I am, here's my products in the store, and everybody that's around, come check it out. I don't have my own storefront. I'll be at a few shows here soon, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, come check this out. This is such a great place, and so on. Legal and regulatory considerations are another challenge with wholesaling. If you especially if you're making like well, soap or skincare and that kind of thing, they may involve, and if you're doing this, you're probably already aware of it, but it may involve compliance with additional regulations and legal requirements such as labeling, packaging, or tax obligations. Um, this is true, of course. Like you may run into all that, but it will also prepare you to expand and take your business to a whole nother level. Because if you start off in a small store and they say, yeah, but we definitely still need to have like a list of the ingredients and anything that might give someone an allergy to it and so forth. And you go, okay. And you do all your due diligence and you have this beautiful packaging and you put everything on there that they've asked for and it meets and complies with all the regulations and the legalities and so forth. And then someone goes in there from a big corporation looking for a handmade gift and they go, oh, well, this stuff's great. And you know what? It would be wonderful to put this person on the shelves of our big box store or whatever. It happens to people. And you've already got everything ready. It's good to go. You don't have to think about it. You just go, oh, hi, I'm here and I'm presenting my work. And yes, of course, I've already thought about all this. It takes a lot of the stress out of it if you've already prepared it as though it is going to be on the shelves of one of the big stores. I don't want to name any of the big stores, but you know what I mean? Like if it was comparably on the shelf right beside something else at the biggest stores that you can imagine, what would you be required to have? And then just do that, even if you do not want to be in those stores. That's okay. It now opens you up that you're ready for every opportunity that comes along with regards to that. And you don't have to think about it. They'll ask the question, you go, yep, here you go. And next question. So it's essential to carefully consider the pros and cons and evaluate whether wholesaling aligns with your business goals, your production capabilities, and overall strategy that you want to pursue with your business. Some crafters find success in a hybrid model where they're combining wholesale and direct to customer. Um, it really depends on what your vision is, and your vision, I think I've said in previous videos, but your vision can change, and that's cool. That's normal. It happens. You go, okay, this at the very beginning, I think I only want to do direct to customer, and then you go, well, maybe a little bit of wholesale. Actually, I like that, so maybe I'll do a split, and then it becomes bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden, you know what? The wholesale thing is I'm doing all these big productions all the time. I think I want to go back to doing direct to customer more so, or whatever the case is. Doesn't matter. But as long as it aligns to what you want. And so I think that we'll just kind of, if I don't see any questions here today. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I think that we've gone through quite a bit about wholesaling here. And again, we do have that course on Udemy if you wondered a little bit more about the approach that Amy and I are talking about for wholesaling. And I guess I hope you found this video helpful and that you'll consider subscribing to our channel and clicking the like button. It definitely helps us get our information out to more people like you that may be looking for some tips and tricks or some help on these topics. And we certainly appreciate it as well. So with that being said, I guess depending on your time zone, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thanks for watching. I'm Tanner.